anytime somebody brings up the numbers of kids who are on puberty blockers, the number of people who've had transitions, the number of detransitioners, anything like that, those numbers are meaningless to me. We are just getting into the upswing of this ideology. All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lunch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Let's party. So, guys, you know I've been on a kick with Megyn Kelly lately. She's just, I didn't know she was still out there doing her thing, but she is still out there doing her thing. And so she did this segment about how DeSantis and Trump are taking very different avenues dealing with the whole trans ideology thing. And it's really telling. Now, it's early in election season. DeSantis has not even announced at this point that he is actually running, but we can pretty much, understand that that is what's going to happen. So let's check this out and see if it gets us any closer to knowing who should be the president in 2024.
Matt Walsh over at Daily Wire, who's been in many ways leading the charge on this whole thing. He's the one behind the movie What is a Woman, all that stuff. He loved this clip. He loves DeSantis. And he was saying no other candidate has come close to being this direct on this issue. Let's play it. It's that one.
Some of this is, yes, it's taking away opportunities in athletics and some other stuff, and that's really, really important. But I think there's also just the issue of, are we going to be a society based on truth? Or are we going to be a society based on deceit?
Oh, are we going to be a society based on truth or a society based on deceit? Now, you guys know how much I always love talking about how bad dogmatic thinking is. And dogmatic thinking can only exist in a society based on deceit. If we are a society of truth, this deceit will be squashed.
And if you take a man and they dress up as a woman and you tell me I have to accept that they're a woman, then you're asking me to be complicit in a lie.
And you can be as sensitive as you want to be, but a lie is a lie is a lie is a lie.
And I just refuse to do that.
Wow. Pretty extraordinary and right on the nose, like going beyond sports and women's locker rooms and all that.
Right. It's not just saying like, well, we, in this area, it's okay. And no, he's saying fundamentally, this entire idea is based on deceit. And he's not willing to be complicit in a nationwide, worldwide lie.
Before I bring you in, I'll just play the other side. Here's just a highlight reel of Donald Trump Jr., I think, is in here, and Donald Trump himself. And there's a little bit of DeSantis. It's just a mashup of the other guys, including a little DeSantis, and their prior positions on this.
So what I want to make clear is that I don't think that it is good to be mean to trans people just because they're trans. Obviously. If that's what you're getting from here, then you found the wrong channel and go find somebody else who's going to tell you what you already know. The idea is how we are addressing the people who are abusing the sensitivities that we all should have for trans people.
I don't give a shit, dude. If you're an adult and you want to be trans and you do it, great.
Yeah.
If you're happy, you're productive. I actually don't give a shit. Like, I'm fairly liberal on the issue.
Notice how he just, the podcast host just there brought up, well, yeah, it's about the kids, though. Just brush right over it.
And if you take a man and they dress up as a woman and you tell me I have to accept that they're a woman, then you're asking me to be complicit in a lie. And I just refuse to do that.
Speak about North Carolina bathroom law in particular.
Leave it the way it is right now. There have been very few problems. Leave it the way it is. Caitlin.
There's been so few problems at the point that he said that because we haven't slipped that far down the slippery slope. The point of a slippery slope is that it keeps going. This, anytime somebody brings up the numbers of kids who are on puberty blockers, the number of people who've had transitions, the number of detransitioners, anything like that, those numbers are meaningless to me. We are just getting into the upswing of this ideology. So just because things are fine now doesn't mean that if you keep pushing this ideology that things are going to stay the same. In fact, the entire idea is that you want to change it more. Guys, I want to ask you really quick, If you are enjoying what you are seeing here, not only am I live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, but the Discord server is open 24/7. The party never ends. And after every live stream, we head over there to have a panel. It's not just me talking and you typing and chatting. We are all in the same voice room together, hanging out. It is a great time. Come and join us.
Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses.
That is correct.
And again, that's not inherently a problem. That's not inherently a problem of holding that position. But we're seeing that the opposition is kicking up. And so if you're not prepared for that, and you're just trying to get people to like you, which is pretty much what Trump does, you're going to fall flat on this issue.
That was from David Reboy, who put it together. Just, you can see some lines are being drawn. Let me kick it off with you, Jeffrey, since you are new to the program, but I always admired you while you were in Trump as a fierce on CNN as a fierce Trump defender. It's like you need both sides represented. I'll just say to the audience, this is one of the problems we had last time around at Fox News. We were going into the election in 2016, and we had all these sort of conservatives on who were more establishment types who looked at Trump as a joke. And sooner or later, Roger Ailes realized we had no true Trump defenders on the show. We only had like Republicans who hated him, which really did lead to an imbalance that the audience objected to. So I appreciate you coming on as a full-throated Trump defender, and we'll get to Duncan's perspective too. Go ahead. Your thoughts on this issue and how it's unfolding.
Well, I think Donald Trump, in one sense, is a bit of a libertarian when it comes to this. Just shrug your shoulder, do what you're going to do. But I do think, on the other hand, this whole business with Bud Light, I mean, that was not organized. It's not like somebody planned to do that.
Nope, grassroots, baby.
Outrage, as it were, that swelled up from the bottom, I think really says where the country is.
That is why we need to keep it going. I don't know when the week this is going to come out, but hopefully you are still going strong. And those of you Bud Light drinkers, just buy something else. Most of us don't buy Bud Light anyway. It is the easiest culture war battle that we've ever come across.
They may not care about some of this, but for heaven's sakes, they're not going to be pushed into going along with some of it, whether it's on sports teams or the silly business with the beer or what have you. And I just think that is a major political force here in this discussion, and you will see it surface again and again and again.
I haven't heard Trump talk about this issue lately, Jeffrey.
That's exactly where I was going. I'm so glad that you brought that up. I'm interested to hear what these guys are going to say. But we have to remember that the statements we just saw, things are changing very rapidly. So Trump might have a different opinion at this point. And it'll be very interesting to see if it has changed, how it has changed, and what that actually looks like.
I feel, I could be wrong, but if you were to compare the way I sounded on this issue 4 or 5 years ago,
good point,
versus now, I would sound very different. And I do wonder whether Trump is going to sound different. Now, Rick Grinnell didn't sound different. He was sort of coming after people like David on this, suggesting some of this talk is transphobic. But I wonder, do you think Trump is going to sound more like DeSantis in that clip when he does speak about this?
I'm hoping that he sees that at the time that was appropriate to say, hey, look, we're just, it's fine. If you're a trans person, nobody cares. But it's gone too far. It has gone too far, and something needs to be done. Let's see what his boy says.
Oh, I think Donald Trump will always sound like Donald Trump.
Facts.
He used to kid me that I compared him all the time to Ronald Reagan, but as I also tried to say, Trump is Trump. Reagan was Reagan, and I think in this case, Trump is not going to be DeSantis. He'll be Trump, and his own unique take on this. Not to mention everything else, for that matter, but certainly on this.
Michael, we played the clip earlier this week of Don Jr. out there ripping on the Bud Light boycott.
Loser!
I'll play just a little bit of it to freshen people's memory, but he was against it. Here he is.
Anheuser-Busch totally shit the bed with this Dylan Mulvaney thing.
If you haven't seen, I did a video specifically on this already on the channel. Check it out.
I'm not, though, for destroying an American and iconic company for something like this. When I actually look into it, I'm not going to blame the whole company for the inaction or the stupidity of someone in a marketing campaign that got woke as hell. And we looked into the political giving and lobbying history of Anheuser-Busch. And guess what? They actually support Republicans. In woke corporate America, Anheuser-Busch supports Republicans.
So what? Again, if you want to hear more of my thoughts on that, check out the video that I already dropped on this.
And by the way, here's Ron DeSantis on the issue of Bud Light.
I've ever seen it.
Why would you want to drink Bud Light? I mean, like, honestly, that's like them rubbing our faces in it.
Yup.
And it's like these companies that do this, if they never have any response, they're just going to keep doing it. If you don't have conservative beer drinkers, you're going to feel that. And so, you know, I think it's a righteous, thing.
Will we ever see you drinking a Bud Light again?
No, I don't think so.
That is what is, I understand. I understand there is so much momentum behind the MAGA movement. But I just feel like, and I'm just going back and forth on this every day, I just feel like there is so much that was accomplished, but that we need to move beyond that. And it's great. It's great that Trump was the bull in the china shop that we needed. But now we need somebody to sweep up and put the shop back together again. And again, I'm going back and forth, sometimes by the day, sometimes by the minute. But who are you guys thinking? What do you think about who should be the Republican nominee for 2024? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Once again, that back there is Morty, and I am Lutch, your host, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of Common Sense. Check us out live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m., and also whenever in the Discord server. Check us out. Until then, guys, we are out of here. Peace.